Welcome to Schein Chats. I'm Russell Williamson, Vice President, Global Strategic Partnerships for Henry Schein. I'm also a U.S. Army veteran, served in the Persian Gulf War, and I'm honored to be joined by Josh Lewis, a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps who has participated in Carry the Loads National Relay and the Dallas Memorial March since its inception in 2011. Josh, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Russell. Honored to be here.
Awesome, awesome. As we approach Memorial Day, I'd love to chat with you about our shared experience as military veterans who have transitioned into the workforce and how we can support others who might be on that same journey. So, to start, Josh, I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about Carry the Load and how you became involved in the organization.
Carry the Load started in 2011. It's a nonprofit that started to restore the true meaning of Memorial Day. We got tired of people treating Memorial Day as just another day off, a barbecue, a mattress sale, a car sale. We wanted people to take a minute, not the whole day, just a minute to raise a glass and say thank you to those that paid that ultimate sacrifice. So we started that in 2011, walking throughout the nation. You might see our buses traveling through a city near you. It says big old Carry the Load on it. You might see a bald guy walking down the street carrying a flag, and that's us. We walk to remember those we lost and to bring awareness. We also raise money for other nonprofits such as the Adaptive Training Foundation, Healing Warriors, and others, so that they can continue to do the great things they're doing. And lastly, we educate our next generation, right? There's a number of programs we have in schools across the country so that kids can understand what Memorial Day is and why they have the day off and get to honor those that paid that sacrifice. So it's an honor to be a part of this organization.
Awesome. And I would share that I've seen the Carry the Load buses. There's probably a lot of you and I out there, bald guys, out there walking
Yeah.
and carrying those flags. And I can tell you, it warms me. I'm sure it makes you feel warm all over to know that there's organizations out there like Carry the Load that are supporting and uplifting veterans and really bringing notice to the sacrifice and those who made the ultimate sacrifice to serve the country. So thank you again for being here and thank you for the work that Carry the Load is doing on a day-to-day basis, and certainly looking forward to the Memorial Day marches and the relays that are going to be happening all around the country. Veterans bring a unique skill set to the workforce. I'd love for us to have a little conversation about those skills and how organizations can better leverage them to assist veterans on their transition into civilian life. Would you share with us about your experience coming from the military and moving into the civilian workforce?
2003, I entered the Marines. I had the opportunity to serve in Iraq, Afghanistan, and all over the world, and got out in 2011 and came back to work at a company that was a small kind of paramilitary group. All of us were veterans, and we all got to hang out and make the same jokes and talk the same way we did in the military, and everybody understood each other. And in 2014, I left that job and got a job at a bank, and that was a large financial institution, and it was a scary kind of moment for me. It was tough to transition into a place where there were people there that had been in that company for 20 or 30 years. They knew that company inside and out. They knew how to navigate the company, but they also knew how to do their job very well. So that was intimidating for me. And here I was just trying to figure out how to get access to the programs I needed. I was trying to figure out how to work technology, and it was so frustrating and intimidating for me. It was tough, and I never imagined after fighting in Iraq, fighting in Afghanistan, that I would have struggled so much entering into the corporate world, but it was tough.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I think the challenges that you face, many of the veterans face. I know I faced as well. I joined a large pharmaceutical company coming right out of the military, and it was a significant adjustment, right? Just kind of understanding what they were asking me to do. Like, I mean, I knew I could
Yeah.
hear, I could read, I could understand, and I think part of why they hired us, Josh, is the fact that they knew they had someone who was a disciplined thinker, right? Could hear and understand what was being asked of them, and could also go out and deliver results. However, like I know, that comes across in a very different way when you're a military unit, right? When you're in uniform, as opposed to the way it works in corporate America. So I was thankful that I was able to gradually work through that transition. And I know many veterans out there trying to get through those and get to the other side of saying, "Hey, I really can do this." Would you share with us some of your successes?
I really appreciate what you say there. It is tough, in the Marine Corps, you work somewhere for 3 years, 2 years, and you do XYZ on your PFT, and you do these other things. You're going to get a promotion. You'll get another billet. You'll get higher rank. You're going to get something, and
Mhm.
it's kind of standard for you. You understand what it is. And coming into banking and finance, I didn't understand that. It was very, very tough. But fortunately, I was fortunate enough to have people around me that helped me out, and I was able to have quite a bit of success. I started out in compliance, went from there to underwriting for large corporations. I mean, I was dealing with companies that were, man, $25 billion in revenue. It was amazing. And then I went on to be a banker, and it was truly a great time to move up through the company like that. I was there just about 8 years, and had got to do every job I wanted to do there, and it was an awesome opportunity for me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I know part of getting those opportunities to get exposed within the company, to learn the different roles of the organization, oftentimes happens because there's some support groups within the organization. I know at Henry Schein we have what we call the Veteran Engagement Team. It's a veteran employee resource group. It's really designed to help veterans transition into the workforce, really talk about issues that veterans are experiencing. What did you see in that regard as far as employee resource groups? Did you experience any of that?
We did. We had one, and several institutions, corporations have those, and they are an amazing resource. One is veterans come into the company to understand what's available to them, where they need to be, what their next job could be, training they could receive to be great where they're at. It's amazing. And then, it always helps to have a friend or two that understands where you're coming from to
True.
help you do well where you're at.
Very true. Very true. We've had the opportunity to connect, I know previously, and talk, Josh. One of the things that sticks with me from our last conversation is you shared with me three key pieces of advice that you would give a veteran beginning to embark on their journey to transition to the workforce. Will you share that with us today?
This is the plan for success. First thing you have to do is be great where you're at. I know a lot of veterans that come in and they say, "Oh, I want to be a VP. I want to be a VP." Well, to be that VP, the first thing you have to do is be great where you're at. And a lot of people lose sight of that. Be great where you're at. That's the first step. Second is you need a cheerleader. You need a mentor, somebody that has your back and says, "Hey, this guy, this gal, they know what they're doing.
Hmm.
Go call that person over there in that in that group. They're ready for your call, and they want you to work for them. It's a step up for you. Oh, you want to be a VP? Well, first you need to learn these three things, and once you learn those three things over the next 2 years, then you might be able to step up to that position." So I had a mentor who really taught me how to navigate the firm, and then she was a huge cheerleader for me when it came time for me to make that next step. And the
Awesome.
last thing you need to do is you need to create your brand,
Hmm.
right? We veterans, we do that so poorly. We do a horrible job of it, right? I wear my ribbons when I'm in the military. You can see what I've done. I've got NAMs. Some people have maybe Purple Hearts or Medal of Honor, whatever you got. Um, you wear that on your chest, so no one has to ask what you've done, right?
Hmm.
It's very different in the corporate world, very, very different. And that was tough for me to understand that I needed to figure out how to tell people, well, I did X number of dollars in loans last year. I did X number of dollars in new business last year. It was very tough for me to learn how to do that. But that's the one thing that you've got to figure out how to do so that people understand you're doing a great job and you're looking forward to other positions or other challenges. And in a strange way of saying it, that you're a benefactor or a good part of that company.
Awesome. Yeah, I think those are great, Josh. Thank you for sharing them again. Right, I think those are powerful. Be great where you are. Right, get yourself a mentor and build your brand. I think those are three major keys for our listeners to take with them. This was great, Josh. It's always important to acknowledge the individuals who protect our freedoms and who have given the sacrifice, and those who've given the ultimate sacrifice for service to this country. So we really appreciate Carry the Load. We appreciate you being here today, and just want to thank you again for all that you've done. And we appreciate you watching, listening to Schein Chats. Have a great one. Take care.